Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm doing something a little different today. I'm going to walk you through what a typical Puerto Rican weeknight dinner may look like. This is something that does not require a lot of planning at all. It is very simple and easy to do. So yeah, I'm going to walk you through how I make some white rice, some beans, some chuleta, and some tostones, which I've never made a video on before, but I do have a video on how to make everything else that's on this plate, and it will be linked below. So yeah, so if you want to see how I make this super simple and delicious meal, keep watching. So to start this dinner off right, I have here some center cut pork chops that have been marinating in my fridge overnight. I seasoned them with some adobo, lots of garlic powder, oregano flakes, and black pepper. You can easily substitute these for some chicken thighs if you do not eat pork. So yeah, so I'm just going to bake them in my oven at 375 degrees until they're nice and crispy. I want to say about 40 minutes. I also like to put a pan of water at the bottom rack of my oven to create steam to help create that crispiness in my pork chops. And it's a much healthier alternative than frying. So while I have my chuletas in the oven baking, I'm going to go ahead and make my rice. So I have my caldero here. It's set over medium-high heat. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon or two of some vegetable oil. Any oil is fine. Don't overthink it. And then afterwards, I'm going to add about 2 1/4 cups of water. And I'm going to be adding 2 cups of extra long grain rice. So I think that this amount is pretty good. And then afterwards, I'm going to go in with a little pinch of salt to taste. So now that the water has come to a boil, I'm going to go ahead and add my rice. It's already been washed and rinsed. So yeah, I'm just going to plop that right into the caldero. And if you notice, the water immediately stopped boiling as soon as I added my rice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue cooking my rice over medium heat. I'm going to allow the water to come back up to a simmer. Once it comes to a simmer, I'm going to cover my caldero and I'm going to let it cook for about 10 minutes until the water is almost completely evaporated. And after about 10 minutes, my rice is looking good. The water is almost completely evaporated. So at this point, I'm just going to give it a nice stir, bring everything kind of to the middle. I'm going to set my heat on low heat. I'm going to cover my caldero and forget about it for a while. And I'm going to go ahead and start working on my beans. All right, now that I'm on a roll, I have my chuletas in the oven. I have my rice cooking. I'm going to start working on my beans. So I'm going to add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil in my pot here. Again, any oil is fine. Do not overthink it. And then I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of some diced salchichón. This is called summer sausage in English. You can even use some diced ham steak and even some chopped up longaniza. All right, now that my salchichón is nice and golden, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my condiments in no specific order, starting off with some diced pimientos and a couple of Spanish olives. And as always, this is optional. This is just what I like. And then I'm going to add a 1.5 tablespoons of my fresh homemade sofrito. And I'm going to give that a nice stir until my sofrito is nice and fragrant. I want to work quickly. I do not want to burn my sofrito or anything else. So yeah, I'm just going to do that for a couple of seconds. And just an FYI, my heat is set over medium heat. So not too high and not too low. Then I'm going to go in with about 2 tablespoons of tomato sauce. Then 1 packet of some Goya ham sazón and 1 packet of Goya Sazón with culantro y achiote. Again, you can use any brand sazón that you want or even some annatto powder. And then I'm going to add about a 1/4 teaspoon of some oregano flakes and a little pinch of ground coriander. Coriander goes by many different names, but one of the names that it's commonly known for in Spanish is culantro. So this is optional. But yeah, so I'm going to add all my seasonings and just stir everything up really well. Then I'm going to add my beans. Here I'm using pinto beans, but you can use red beans or even white navy beans. And I do drain the liquid from the can, and I also rinse my beans with water. Personally, I don't like to use the liquid that's in the can from the beans. And then I'm going to add about 2 1/2 cups of water. I did check for salt content and I found that it was perfect. But if you feel like yours needs a little more salt, you can add a little pinch. And if you find that the flavors are a little too strong, you can tone them down with about half a teaspoon of sugar. So yeah, I'm gonna let this cook over medium heat covered, and I'm gonna go ahead and work on my tostone. So while I have all of my main dishes going, I'm going to start working on my tostones. So here I have one large plantain, and to make the peeling process much easier, I've mentioned this in a previous video. I think it was my arañita de plátano video. I like to let the skin get a little yellow. So I like to ripen the skin just a little bit before I cook them because it just makes peeling them so much easier. So after I've peeled my plátano, I'm just going to cut it into slices, into about 1-inch slices. Then afterwards, I'm gonna fry my plátano slices on each side for about 2 minutes until they're slightly golden. As you can see, my plátano slices are nice and golden and just slightly crispy, but they're not fully cooked yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tostonera here to flatten them. If you do not have a tostonera, you can simply use the flat side of a small plate or even another cutting board. Get creative. The whole point is just to flatten them up as much as you can and as thick as you want them to be. All right, so now that all of my tostones are nice and flat, I'm gonna go ahead and refry them. And I'm gonna refry them for about 2 minutes on each side or until they're nice and fully crispy. All right, so my tostones are done and they're looking delicious and extra golden. So I'm just gonna go ahead and season them with some salt. I'm also gonna season them with a little bit of garlic powder this time, but that's completely optional. And our meal is finally complete. And that is all for today's mini cook with me. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and today's style of video. I really hope that it inspires your next weeknight meal. Remember, if you do not know what to cook, you can never go wrong with rice and beans. That's all I'm saying. You can never go wrong with rice and beans. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and to hit that notification bell because a new video will be out every week. Until next time.